the channel for Arsenal fans all over the world. I've got a smile on my face because I've got my brother from another mother. Yes, Richard from Arsenal TV, who's a part of the Cannon Fodder TV family. Richard, what's happening, man?
Yeah, man, I'm good. I've got a smile on my face as well after yesterday's result. But, it wasn't the best of performances, but we grinded for a 1-0. So either way, it's 3 points in the bag.
Absolutely, absolutely. So, this is the second beginning of one of our segments. Mondays we usually do the fan comments, which is today. Wednesdays is the voice of reason with my brother Raz, and Fridays is the easy talk, which is a long live stream. But yeah, welcome back to fan comments, where you guys religiously put your comments and your every week after every game. So like I said, we're going to take it in tandem. Richard's going to read some of the comments out, and I'll read some of the comments out as well. So, Richard, do you want to go first, or?
Yeah, I'll go first.
Yeah.
This was a tweet, Twitter, and it was Avron Ghosh. He turned around and said, "I'll try and rank our transfers. I mean, those who came in." He put 1. Pep was undoubtedly the highlight. David Luiz, whatever you and the critics may say, this man has aggression. It may be a cause of his downfall, but he is a leader, no doubt. No regrets for Lauren Koscielny leaving. We have a good replacement, if not better. And then he goes on to say number 3, which was Tierney. With his youthness and experience, he should go a long way if he fits in. And then Gabriel Martinelli says is special, has electric pace. I'm looking forward to seeing him against Newcastle, which we did see a glimpse of him, didn't we? And he put number 5, which was Ceballos on loan from Madrid. If he does well and fits in, maybe we should then buy him, but his price will also rise. And then he put Alex Iwobi for the loss. He put, I had a long back predict that he would go. It's now time for Reece Nelson to impose himself onto the team. And he put, I'm still asking, why is Mustafi still in the club? And does he still have a chance now? Rob Holding will be back. Callum Chambers, Mavropanos is very much there. Where does Mustafi play? That was one of the fan comments.
Yeah, it was a long one as well, isn't it? I'm glad I gave that one to you.
Yeah. But I'm just gonna put a touch on where he mentioned about Ceballos. I reckon, do you know what? I've seen a glimpse of him in pre-season where he had that bit of a spell at Barcelona. He had that bit of a spell in the Lyon game. And do you know what? I've been quite impressed with him. Now, I reckon that if the price is right and he does hit the ground running in his first season, then I reckon we are going to have to pay out quite a bit of money. And I'm probably talking about 30, 40 million pounds if he does a very, very good job.
Yeah. I saw a lot of people slating him and Pepe in Twitter yesterday. I mean, Christ, these guys are just had 10 and 15 minutes of their first appearance in the Premiership. They've got to give these guys time, you know what I mean? But
yeah, I agree. We've got to give these players time. We've got to.
What do you think of Martinelli? What do you think of Martinelli?
Do you know what? I'm actually quite impressed with him, to be honest. I mean, I know he's got that bit of toughness about him. He doesn't mind getting stuck in at all. I quite like that. I think he's a bit of an upgrade to Alex Iwobi because he has got that end product that I was on about Alex Iwobi. Yeah. But I reckon he's going to hit the ground running. And I'm being funny, he could be our backup striker with Nketiah going out on loan.
Yeah. Well, I did a live stream earlier today in regards to Nketiah going out on loan, and I didn't really agree with it. But having read the back story in regards to him going out, he did have a conversation with Unai Emery, and they decided that the minutes that he would get if he remained at Arsenal compared to the minutes if he went out on loan, one outweighed the other. But I thought he could have featured a lot more in the cup games, especially in the Europa League. I don't think we needed to put him out on loan. If it was down to the minutes, then we could have still kept him at Arsenal because, again, look at Lacazette. Lacazette got the ankle injury, but it's done and dusted now, isn't it? So we can't go back on it. You know what I mean? But
I know.
so,
Do you know what, Al? To be honest, I'm actually kind of gutted that he has gone out on loan. Because now we've got literally no backup striker if one of them gets injured. I still feel that we did actually need another striker just in case if both of our strikers get injured. So we'll still need another one to fall back on as a replacement. And this is where I think that we should have offered Danny Welbeck another contract because he's that impact player that that Nketiah would be. And I think that's kind of what we're missing.
Yeah, a good plan B, you know, but
Yeah,
like I say, it's done now, you know what I mean? So I just hope nothing happens to our, you know, our main strike force, you know what I mean? Right, so the other comment that came on Cannon Fodder TV was from Apollo from 101 on Arsenal. He said, "This is a chance for us to prove that we are our way form over the last 2 years is well behind us. I'm going for it was a 2-0 win for the Arsenal." Yeah, you're right. And again, clean sheet, Richard. We got away with a clean sheet. Absolutely fantastic.
yeah.
You know, that's been one of our angst. I mean, I'm not sure how many clean sheets did we have last season. Was it just one away from home? I think it was one.
I think it may be one or two. I'm not 100% on what our rate the clean sheets were. But that's pretty much down to our defence. And I know Ryzen 101 actually said it is going back for the last 2 years. I think our away record's actually been worse than that.
Yeah.
It's been worse than 2 years, I would say.
I think you're probably right. Yeah.
Yeah, I reckon I think it's been worse for like over the last 5 years maybe. So yeah, it's just one of them things that Arsenal needs to learn on is maybe you're not playing that great, but you still got to grind out to get a 1-0 win, even though you're not playing well. And that's something that Arsenal has been lacking. You know, we've been playing so bad in certain games, and then we've been close in getting that goal, but then you know we go and concede two, and you're thinking, what the hell? You had your chances, but you didn't bury them.
And that's what I really liked about Aubameyang's performance. I know he had a couple of chances, half chances. The one when he ran down the left-hand flank and he had got a shot in with his left foot. But give him half a chance and he'll put it away. And in regards to grinding out results, I guess that match yesterday, Richard, was the performance wasn't the most important thing. The result, making sure we get the 3 points, you know, build on the foundation. The defense had a really good performance yesterday, but again, it was against not the best of strike forces in Newcastle. But the 3 points was more important than the performance. That's the way I see it.
Yeah,
anyway,
do you know what? Al, do you know what? Going back to yesterday's game, I actually kind of think that in the first half there wasn't enough intensity to the game. It was more or less like more tippy-tappy football. No one was really going at goal. It was more like the first half to me felt like watching pre-season again. That's what it felt like.
Yes.
And then, do you know what? And then the second half, I thought, hold on a minute here. Emery said something to them at half time because I felt that the pace was more quicker, the passing was more fluent, and then we started to pick up speed. It was more or less that we didn't want to come out of that second gear because we knew that Newcastle, despite their off-pitch problems, they was trying to give it to us, but their striking force just was nowhere near at goal.
Yeah. So do you think
mainly more at Lino?
Do you think we were kind of scared to concede the first goal in the first half? That's the impression I got because like a lot of the players, it's like none of them were really showing for the ball. I was thinking, what's wrong? Show some composure, you know, look for the ball and make some play there. I mean, the defense again was relatively solid, and which brings me on to one comment here in the chat, which comes from Sanjay. And he says, should we stick with Socrates and Chambers for the next match, or should we introduce David Lewis? That is a very good question. Well, what do you think, Richard, on that, man?
I would actually stick with Chambers because I've noticed I would stick with Chambers for one more game. because I don't think David Luiz is match ready just yet because he hasn't really had that much training with Chelsea. And he's only had one training session with Arsenal at the moment since coming in. So I would actually give Chambers another chance. I thought he actually done pretty solid alongside Socrates, much better than Mustafi's ever done. I think if you look at Socrates and Chambers, Emery hasn't changed it because that is what he used during pre-season.
Yeah.
He had Chambers and Socrates. So yeah, I would actually keep to that question. I would actually keep Chambers for one more game against Burnley, and then change it up when it comes to Liverpool to see who's available up until then.
Okay. Do you have any other comments? I think you got a few more comments. Haven't you?
Yes, I've got another comment from. Is it Yoni TDK? He put Luis long ball to Pep is killer move.
Yeah. Bypass the midfield, just straight ping it to Pepe on goal and slots it in. Yeah. Again, I think sometimes some people might disagree, but I think sometimes Arsenal were just a little bit one-dimensional, always trying to stick with one plan. Rather, when the game's not going quite well, we didn't have something to kind of change it up with. So with the long ball from Lewis, that would be something different, rather than trying to play the little ticky-tacky football that we've been trying to do for the last 10 years. But that's something different. Ping it to Pepe, and I don't know what you think about that, Richard, man.
You know what, Al? It is something different because we haven't really seen much of that lately within the Arsenal squad, and I think our squad now is a lot stronger to what it was last season. I think it is definitely. It feels a lot stronger than last season. And do you know what? If you look at the way David Luiz was playing for Chelsea, he was pinging balls 40, 60 yards up straight through the midfield. So maybe it's something what we need, and we might be able to get in the channels a lot quicker, and he might even be able to get the ball to Aubameyang and Lacazette a lot earlier.
Yeah.
So
yeah. What is
so maybe we might see some goals a lot earlier in the game.
Yeah. But again, I don't want Arsenal to be just so one-dimensional. Let's have like if things not working out, let's try and change things up. Look for a plan B. Maybe go long sometimes and have a pot on long-range shots, because if you don't shoot, you don't know, or you can't score.
Yeah. The way I would see it is like if the opposition are pressing too much on you, then start pinging them forward. Because if you ping them over the top, they're not going to have enough time to get back to defend. Absolutely. If they're too far up. So, but if they feel like that they're pressing too deep towards in their own half, then start pinging it around for tippy tappy football, because then you start to break down the lines a lot quicker.
Okay, just
quickly. It's all about timing. It's all about timing.
Yeah. Okay, just quickly back in the chat. There was a message here from YWHD boss. He says that Kolasinac and Ozil will not play. I know there's an ongoing security issue involving Ozil and Kolasinac, and I think two males were arrested or charged with the attempted robbery a few weeks ago. So I hope we can see these guys back in the squad sooner rather than later, because we need. That was one other thing actually. When I looked at the squad and the bench, it put a smile on my face, because I'm thinking now we've got real strength and depth in the squad there. I mean, Lacazette I know was on the bench, Ceballos, Martinelli. We've got an upgrade. There's an upgrade in the squad now. There's no.
But Al, I mean, for you, look, you just mentioned that whole bench from the Newcastle game. Look how much stronger that was compared to how it was last season.
Yeah.
There's more firepower to bring on from the bench.
Yeah, absolutely.
And you know what? I'm not going to get into the argument about what happened to at Mesut Ozil's wedding either. But I think what it is, it's more or less that. How can I put it? I can understand why Arsenal didn't want Ozil and Kolasinac to travel, just in case the same thing happens again, because that person might have links somewhere else. That might try to attempt to. So I can understand the security reasons on it. but I think Arsenal are more or less at a 50-50 of what to do with Mesut Ozil at the moment, because I know that he's being linked to go and play in the MLS over in America.
I did see that.
Yeah. And do you know what? I think in terms of the robbery, I think there is a lot more to it that they're not actually telling us.
Yeah.
I think there's a lot more to it. But
we won't get into
that. It's bad how that's happening, and it has to go and affect their football. So I don't see how that's. I think that's wrong for it to affect their football at the end of the day.
Okay, and we've got Mube Guna. What's happening, brother? All the way down in the States. And he says, Pepe played up front a few times last year, so I think that's what Emery was thinking. So I guess, Pepe, Nicolas Pepe is maybe a good plan B, in case we might need to mix it up. So, Mube, of course, has the knowledge that he's played. And Richard, didn't you say that as well, that Pepe had played up front?
Yeah, I did. In your last live stream, I said that Nicolas Pepe has played up front for Lille before, so it would be an option. It would be definitely an option, but he's more of a right winger predominantly because he likes to cut in on his left side sometimes. And if you saw that the 5-minute spell when he came on, he looks quite entertaining. Because I reckon he will definitely be a star at Arsenal. Definitely.
Yeah. Okay, do you have any other comments, Richard?
Yeah, Schoolboy 8, who is also a fellow subscriber of mine.
Oh, is he?
He turned around and said, "For this season,
what's happening with you, man?"
I know. He said, for this season, I'm sticking to a 3rd or 4th with a lot more confidence than a week ago.
Yeah. I think we all are. It's like I say, for me personally, I think it's an exciting time to be a young Arsenal player. And like you said before, Richard, the board have supported Unai Emery, so there can be no excuses really for Unai Emery. And me personally, I think we will secure a top 4, or maybe top 3 could be. If we don't progress so much in the Europa League, I can see us securing top 3 this season. So Screenboy 8's got the right, to.
He's absolutely spot on. I think the majority of the Arsenal fans are thinking the same in terms of the signings that we've brought in. And obviously, I don't want to be too optimistic about it because it's only the first game of the season. There's still 37 games to go, and I don't want to feel like an absolute fool if I say, we're going to get top 3, and then all of a sudden, halfway through the season, it all falls apart.
Yeah, but you've got to be optimistic, Richard.
I know, exactly. But do you know what? How I reckon it's going to plan out this season, I think it's going to be exactly the same. I reckon that Man City and Liverpool are definitely going to be the 2 fighting for the league again this season. And I reckon this time around that Liverpool will push City to the ultimate limit. I know like they did last season. I know Tottenham are obviously brought some players as well. They got a nice, good 3-1 win on their first game at home. And obviously you've got us. We've spent quite a lot of money this season. And I know we've still got players are yet to come back when you got the likes of Bellerin that's meant to be coming back sooner rather than later. Apparently I'm hearing it's going to be before October. I think there's another month that they're giving him. Then you got Rob Holding coming back, which he's now been playing for the under-23s. You got Kieron Tierny that could be coming back in the next 3 to 4 weeks. So I reckon top 3 is going to be between Arsenal and Spurs this season. And I think it's going to be either Man United or Chelsea that's going to be fighting for 5th and 6th this season. But I reckon Man United might end up 5th and Chelsea 6th this season.
Okay, so before I go back into the comments, there's a couple of things I want to say. If you're just passing by live now, I've got Richard from Arsenal TV. Make sure you subscribe to Cannon Fodder TV. Hit the notification button so you can receive all the latest and greatest news on Cannon Fodder TV. But also make sure you go over to Richard's channel and subscribe and follow him on his Twitter handle. There's just a couple more, and lo and behold, Mube is saying top 3, you can book it. So there's lots of positivity going on amongst the fan base. Just
Yeah.
one thing about negativity. We've got one comment here that I'll read out, and then Richard, maybe you can tell me your comments about this. This one comes from Arsenal Vlogs. He says, I know that's true, mate, but it's Arsenal away form which concerns me, and we haven't strengthened enough defence. I know Luiz would be better as we got, but let's not get excited. We have had this situation before that happens. Everyone flops and turns after one game. Now, what I want to say is about the negativity. Negativity breeds negativity, and we don't want that amongst the fan base. We already know that the fan base is fractured. It started under Arsene Wenger's tenureship as the manager, more than 22 years. But remember, it's a new era. Unai Emery is the coach. We have to get behind not only Unai Emery, but get behind and support Arsenal Football Club. That's the only thing I'm going to say. Did you want to add anything to that, Richard?
Do you know what? Al? No, you've literally knocked the nail on the head. Do you know what? To be honest, that is what we've got to do. As a fan base, we now have to get behind the team and the manager. As I've said before, this is a time in the season where we have to question Emery's decisions, because last season he's worked out the players he doesn't want and he's worked out the players that he wants. Now, I reckon that one of the players in terms of defensively that could be out of Emery's plans will be Monreal. I've got to think he could be sold. And I reckon then we'll have Tierney and Kolesnik as our main two. Now, going back to what he said for Arsenal Vlogs about our away record, yeah, I'm also concerned about that. And I think a lot of the Arsenal fans are as well. The reason why we are, because we've seen it too many times and in too many seasons where we've gone halfway through the season, got to the Christmas period and fell apart. Last season wasn't too bad. We fell apart near enough to the end of the season, where we lost maybe three or four games that really cost us that top 3 spot for Champions League. So yeah, I'm concerned about our away record, but hopefully Emery has sorted it out.
Yeah,
maybe he's starting to get into the players and thinking, look, if you're having a bad game, just grind out for that 1-0. That's all that matters, because at least you've got the 3 points.
Yeah. The most important thing. Yeah.
Yeah.
Do you have any other comments?
I don't think David Luiz is our final destination in terms of a defender. I reckon Arsenal will go in for another bid for Aubameyang. In terms of transfer in January.
Yeah.
If not January, then we'll probably go for him again in the summer, because there's more time in the summer to go and get deals done.
Yeah.
I don't think David Luiz is our final choice.
Yeah, and it's funny you mentioned that. There's a comment just come through from Gunnar Glenn. Listen, Gunnar Glenn, I've got to thank you very much for kind of spreading out the word on Twitter in regards to trying to get people in to view the content on Cannon Fodder TV. So a big shout out to you. I think I'm following your Twitter handle. When everyone's watching, make sure you go over and follow Gunnar Glenn on his Twitter handle. But he says Mustafi not even on the bench. Has Emery had enough of him now? I hope so. I hope so. I think it's just gone to a point where it's become really unfair, because I know the fans in the stadium, you can hear they were booing Mustafi, and I've read up a lot of stuff where certain people, the fan base, saying that we need to get behind the players. But what can you do when you've got a player who constantly makes glaring mistakes and they lead to maybe a penalty or a goal? I know Xhaka is up there with Mustafi, but for me personally, if I've got a player who's constantly making errors and mistakes, he's got to go. He's got to go. So I think the writing's on the wall for Mustafi, Glenn. I don't know. What do you think, Glenn? Put something in the chat. Richard, what do you think about Mustafi? Have we had enough of him? Has Emery had enough of him?
I have, personally, because I've seen him make too many schoolboy errors. And he's supposed to be a full international and getting paid for what he does. I reckon a Sunday League defender could do better than him. Personally, that's what I think. And you know what? I don't actually think that Mustafi is going to be in Unai Emery's plans. And I reckon he could be another one that could be at the door in January.
Yeah. And another player that was lambasted yesterday, Henrik Mkhitaryan. Again, I'm not going to bash him. I just get the feeling that maybe he's a player who knows that he's probably, he's heading for the door. I think I can just see it by the way he's playing there. He's not given 101%, Richard. And I think Emery's probably had the word with him, and he probably knows that he's about to depart Arsenal.
Yeah.
But
well, do you know what, Al? My concern about Mkhitaryan is that it's going to be very hard to get him out the door, because I don't think there's no team that's going to come in and pay £200,000 on his contract for his wages. I don't think there's no team that's going to come in and do that. And do you know what? I think if you're going to use Mkhitaryan, use him in the middle as a number 10, because he's not a winger. So that's my only thought on that. And do you know what? I know he made a few sloppy errors in that Newcastle game. You know, he took a shot and skied it way above the goal. And he just made too many errors. He didn't release the ball quick enough at times, because then you had the opposition getting onto the ball before he even got the pass away. And we was lucky not to concede a goal. So, yeah, I reckon he could be another player that's going to be out the door. But as I said, I don't know a team that's going to pay £200,000 for his contract, or so I say for his wages. So I think it could be down to another Ozil situation. Who's going to pay out for those wages?
Possibly, yeah. I've got one more comment here. Richard, do you have any more fan comments?
Yes, I do. Let me just, when my tablet decides to unlock. Another one is from 11 Arsenal FC1, and he put Cannon Fodder. I think top 4 is on. I think top 4 is on. Why not? We only just missed out last season with a weaker squad.
Yeah. And that's the baseline, isn't it? That's the template where people are comparing last season with a lot of players who have now departed, and we've got an upgrade. So, like I said before, in one sense of the word, Emery doesn't have any excuses, because now he's getting the players that he's wanted at Arsenal. So, excuse me, we've got to get top 4. We have to get top 4. Really, there can be no excuse. Really,
no. I mean, for me, top 4 is a must this season. Anything below top 4 for me is failure. I reckon we'll probably get a cup this season. I'm not sure which one. But for me, top 4 is definitely a must. Emery needs to focus on getting top 4 first before thinking about Europa League, because I think that was his mistake last season. I think when it got down to the Crystal Palace game at the Emirates, he made too many changes that he didn't really need to do. I think he made about 4 or 5 changes during that game, and I was sitting there thinking to myself, top 4 is within our hands, and now you're throwing all your eggs into the Europa League.
It tinkered too much.
Yeah. And I was thinking, what's going to happen if we go to the Europa League final and then lose? Then you've also just wasted Champions League football via the Premier League. Make sure that the Champions League is secure by the Premier League first before thinking about the European final. Best thing to do is take one game at a time. Take one game as it comes. Don't think too far ahead. I know I am a bugger for that, because I do think too far ahead sometimes. Especially like I was talking about in my preview, I was saying about the Newcastle and Burnley game. If we get those 2 games out of the way, then maybe we'll make up the numbers when it comes to the Liverpool and the Spurs game.
Yeah, because I can't think that far ahead, Richard. I know we've said literally that with some wise that maybe at the end of the season we will reach top 4, but game by game, that's the way I prefer to perceive things, rather than thinking, all right, in next 4 games, we'll get a point here. I can't think that far ahead. That's the way that my mind has now elevated.
I'm also thinking you've got Man City that's going to be playing against Tottenham. There's going to be points dropped there because Man City is going to beat Spurs. That's a given. And then there's another game I think there's going to be drops points, and I think it might be the Liverpool game. I haven't seen the fixtures properly for next week, but this is our chance. It is our chance. I mean, if you win your first 2 games in the league and then you've got Liverpool in your next game, you're going to be feeling more confident about going into that Liverpool game. You're not going to be so worried. You think of last season, we lost to Man City, we lost to Chelsea, and in time Liverpool came around. We was thinking, what's going to happen now?
Yeah, but in football, things change very, very quickly. There are no easy games. I've always, since I started this channel here, I've always said, in the Premiership, there are no easy games. Every game, like from the bottom tier teams can beat the top. The middle can beat the top. So there are no easy games. And that's why I say it has to be a game by game mentality. Let me quickly go back into the chat. There's been quite a few comments here, and we've got one here from Mube Guna. And he says that the window's still open. Don't forget Mustafi leaving in a week to mark my word. So, yeah, I think he didn't feature, as Gunnar Glenn said, on the bench. I think the writing is on the wall for Mustafi. When he does go, I'll wish him all the best. And we've got another one here from Ryzen 101. He says, we will get top 4 with Xhaka in midfield. Consistently playing for 90 minutes. One of you I can guarantee, Ryzen 101, that there will be 1 or 2 mistakes from Xhaka.
I can agree with that.
Yeah. And then Josie has come in and says, what if he doesn't make top 4 but wins Europa? Then we'll be in Champions League. Josie. Yeah.
Al, do you know what? We would still be in Champions League, but I would still be disappointed that we didn't get top 3 or 4 via the Premier League in terms of the squad that we've got.
Well, I understand that, but you know what?
That would be my only downfall for it.
But the only thing is, when was the last time we won any silverware in Europe? More than 25 years. So I would have no qualms if we were to win some European silverware, but didn't, secure it top 4 because silverware in Europe has been a long time. And we've got someone who I recognize. It's Andrew from Dial Square to Where. Even everyone, I'm not here for a long time, but I'm here for a good time. That is typical Andrew. Again, guys, go over there and subscribe to his Twitter handle. Is really good, interesting. I'll be appearing on his YouTube.
So, Al, question for you: who is your bottom 3 team that will get relegated this season?
I wouldn't say Newcastle. I think maybe Aston Villa. I don't think, from what I saw when I played against them lot down the road, I just can't see that they've got enough firepower. They don't have enough, really. So Aston Villa. Again, I think it's probably just too soon, really, to say. Maybe Sheffield Wednesday could be. I don't know. It's too early in the season, really, to say.
Well, you know what? My ones that I've got to be relegated is Norwich for one. I don't think that they'll get that far in the Premier League because in terms of transfers, that they've only spent £1.1 million, and I don't think that's enough to be in the Premier League. I know Leicester, when they came up and they managed to win the league and they spent less money to what the top 6 sides did. Another one of mine that will be a relegate would be Sheffield United. I don't think they'll last very long.
Yeah.
And another team that I reckon will get a relegate would be Southampton.
No, I don't think so. I just quickly going back to about investing money. Look what happened to Fulham. Fulham spent a bucket load of money getting a lot of players in, and where are they now? They're back in the Championship. So, as much as it might make sense to throw money at a squad, me personally, I would stick with the same group of players who got me promoted. Maybe improve on 1 or 2 places, but the money investment doesn't guarantee that you're going to stay up. But yeah, for me personally, I think it's a bit too soon to say which teams are destined to be relegated. But yeah,
well,
from what I saw, Aston Villa.
I reckon Aston Villa might surprise a few people really this season. I reckon they will. I honestly reckon Villa will. They will. So I reckon they'll probably get mid-table this season. I think West Ham might surprise a few people this season. I know they was unlucky against Man City, but I reckon they'll probably surprise a few people as well.
Rob, there's a comment coming from Jose. He says Aston Villa got a good defense. I think they'll stay up. I told people about Bjorn Engels. Yeah, but it can't be all about defense. You have to have something. You can't win if you don't, score goals. And that's what I saw there. I didn't see enough in their attack. I mean, for me, it was only a matter of time before they were broken down, because it can't be you're defending for 70, 80 minutes. It's your first game back in the Premiership, and I just didn't see enough going forward. But who knows? They might improve on their squad there. But for me personally, I think it's a bit too soon to say which three teams might be relegated. But who am I?
And where they haven't been in the Premier League for a long time, they've got to adapt to it again. So it's I think it's going to take time for them. But I agree. I actually think that Aston Villa might stay up this season. I reckon Southampton will go down because they've lost Charlie Austin, which was probably one of their best strikers. So they've lost him. Last season, Southampton was near enough in the relegation point. So I wouldn't be surprised if they will get knocked down into the Championship League next season. That's what I think.
Do you have any more fan comments? You don't, do you? I don't have any more.
No, I don't.
No? Okay, so just quickly go back into the chat. Let's pick out some bits and pieces here. I've got one again from Mube Goon. He says, I'm all for Emery. I love him, but with the state of Manchester United and Chelsea, no top four, he's got to go. Sorry, ruthless. Listen, Mube, you know my thoughts. You know my thoughts about that. I think we can't just give one manager 22 years and then expect wonders, in 2 years, from a new manager. You got to give the guy time. You got to give him time. But that's my personal point of view. I know, Richard, what's your thoughts about sacking Emery after the second season? That's a tough one. It's a tough.
It is a good one. Do you know what? I reckon, I had this image in my head what could possibly happen. If our away form is exactly the same as it was last season and seasons before, and then we're still out of the top four by January comes around, then I think there will be questions asked. And I reckon the board will be ruthless, because I know Emery's into his final year now of his contract, but I think he has got an option for a third year if everything goes to plan the way the board want it. But no, I think Mube is right. I reckon he could go if we don't get top four this season. It is an option. I hate to say it, but I reckon the club will be ruthless, because I know we're not a team that are used to sacking managers so quickly, because that's not us. But I reckon this time around, now Ivan Gazidis is not with us, I absolutely think that the board will be a bit ruthless with certain. I mean, they've been ruthless in terms of transfers.
Oh, so, absolutely.
So maybe, as Rail said, when we knock at the door, it's a different knock. So I don't know. Maybe Mube is right. I reckon they could, but I hate to put the mockers on it. But I actually do think that it could happen.
Okay. I've got one here. Yep. Just says, I don't understand why managers need more than 2 seasons to get their philosophy or style across. I'll give you one example. Reason why is because we've got players who are not accustomed to playing in the Premiership. The Premiership is so different to all the other leagues there. So if you're asking a player to adapt so quickly, nah, that's my argument. Again, and then you've got players who have not played with different faces. So you've got, like I said before, you've got the cultural difference, you've got the language, you've got the Premier League. For me, to ask players to adapt so quickly, it's so difficult for me personally. That's my argument.
No, Al, I completely agree. I think 2 or 3 years is enough. But when you've got players in the side that have been managed for 22 years, or roughly along those times, it's very hard to get the habits out of them.
The mentality.
Because where they've been so drilled. But I think the way Emery wants to build Arsenal and the board, they want to build it on a winning mentality squad. And that's where you've got the likes of Kieron Tierney. I know the Scottish League is completely different to what the Premier League is, but he's done everything in that league. He's done everything. He's won the league over there. He's been in Champions Leagues with Celtic. So he's got that winning mentality. David Luiz, he's won it all with Chelsea.
Yeah, a winner.
You know, he's won multiple Premier League titles. He's got 50 caps for Brazil. So that's another player that's got a winning mentality. And I reckon that's what Emery and the board are trying to do. They're trying to build Arsenal on a winning mentality scale.
And Jose comes back with something cases. But Sane, Salah, Bernardinho, Silva, Jesus, Laporte adapted in their first season. Yeah, you've brought your argument. I brought my argument. You know, we can agree to disagree. You know, I just think, that you're asking players to adapt very, very quickly. The style of the Premiership is, for me, that's my opinion. But listen, Joseph, I respect your opinion. Absolutely, that's what it's about. You know, we respect each other's opinion. I hope.
Donker, do you know what? Donker has actually got a good point. That is actually true. I didn't think of that. I honestly didn't think of that.
And then he's saying here that I think we're giving too many excuses. No, because again, if you look at the history of Arsenal have never been a club to sack managers so quickly. There has to be, a mentality brought into the club. Like Richard has just said, for the last, I have to say, 7 years, we had a manager who bred that kind of mentality. Look what happened. Look at our away record over the last 2-3 seasons. Emery's only had 1 season with us. With a lot of the players that are not his players. So you have to give this guy time. You have to give him time. It's not excuses. It's a fact that he's coming to a team where the players that he wanted to bring in were only going to be loan deals. You know, a lot of the players weren't his players. A lot of the players he's still trying to get rid of. The budget is very, very short, and we've done quite well on a very limited budget. So you've got to give this guy time.
But Al, do you know what makes me think? I think what actually happened during transfers, it's more or less that probably Raul Sanelli actually went to Stan Kroenke and said, look, you've given us this £40 million budget, or 45. We're going to need more to actually build this team. This is clearly not enough for the area that we need to cover.
You're absolutely right, Richard. You're right. It's still not enough.
No, so that's probably what they went and done. They probably had a meeting with Stan Kroenke and Josh Kroenke. He said, look, this money's clearly not enough. You want us to go and achieve these objectives. How are we supposed to be a winning mentality squad, a winning team, when we haven't got the funds to do it? And I think that's why they thought of it. He said, you know what? All right, we'll push some more money your side.
Richard, let me answer this question. Are you happy with the current squad that we have?
Yeah, because I think it's a top 4, top 3 side.
So do you think, honestly, we'll win a trophy this season?
Yes, but I can't pin on what one. But it is a possibility. I reckon we will.
Okay, all right. The thing is, again, the mentality that Pep has there, and the backing and support, and the time he's been given there, that's what Arsenal need to fulfill. That is the blueprint out there. That if we can have players challenging for each position, if the coach is been given time, if we get rid of the negative mentality, these are the ingredients out there for a winning formula.
Yeah.
But for me, I'm still not happy with the squad because there's still some players there that are not going to take us to the next level. And that's what I'm trying to say. Emery has to be given time to get rid of those players, the likes of the Mustafis, and another player who I'm not going to mention his name because the fan base will jump on top of me. There's still some players that we still need to get rid of. It has to be a work in progress. We can never be content with what we have. We have to always be looking to go forward, and that's what I love about Pep Guardiola. That he will still have, good. Look at the captain that they got rid of. I forgot his name. Escapes me now. But for me, I would give him one more season. But Pep Guardiola, he's always looking to improve on his squad there. Have players competing for the position. We're still not there yet. We've got players competing for every single position. No player should have their name guaranteed on the squad. No player should have their name. I know my name's already going to be on the sheet there. No player should feel that when it comes to playing for Arsenal. Each player has to fight for their position there. That's what I think.
I think now with Joe Willock playing so well, I absolutely think that Ozil needs to step his game up. He really does.
Yeah.
This is a massive, important season for Ozil, because I think if he doesn't start playing to the Mesut Ozil that we all know, I reckon he could also be out the door by January.
Yeah.
And this is where I'm thinking now. Do you play Ceballos as the number 10?
Me personally, I would.
Yeah.
I would play him as a number 10. Simple as. Have players competing for the positions. Like I said before, nobody should feel like their position is guaranteed. No player.
I mean, you also look at the likes of Liverpool with Jurgen Klopp. He had 3 years to get Liverpool to where they are. So yes, you do. Maybe the first year you cannot expect the players to play straight away and adapt within that first year to Emery style. You just can't, because it's not going to work. Rome wasn't built in a day.
Yeah, but the thing is with Klopp, he guaranteed, Premier League football. He guaranteed that, didn't he? Whereas Emery hasn't done that yet. So let's
give him time. I think we definitely will get Champions League next season. I think we will.
We will. Right. Let's.
I don't think Chelsea are going to be that great this season, and neither will Man United.
Yeah. Right. Quick. Go back in the chat before we wrap up this segment of our fan comments. And it's gone on a lot longer than I promised, Richard. Sorry, Richard.
Don't worry.
All right. Okay. So we've got here Sanjay Joseph. I think Emery will go back to a back three against Burnley. Burnley are more physical with Barnes, Wood, Court, etc. Yeah, I'm not a fan of the back three, and Richard would know that. But yeah.
But the only advantage I can give to playing with a back three is David Luiz, because he prefers playing in the back three. Now, does that mean you would have Holding, David Luiz, and Socrates within that back three?
Possibly. But
or maybe Chambers.
Maybe.
So maybe a back three could work if David Luiz plays, but I would actually stick with a back four.
Yeah. Well, get back into the chat. Sorry, Richard. I just think we rate the Premier League too highly. Do we rate it too highly?
No, I don't. I think the Premier League is one of the best leagues to play in, and that's where every player wants to play. They want to play in the Prem because it's more intense. The pace of the game is more quicker, and you need to think quicker. This is why we need players that don't want to hold the ball up for too long. We need players that can receive the ball, look where the players are, ping it straight away. That's what the Premier League is like. If you look at the likes of the Spanish league, it is a little bit slower to the Prem. It is a little bit slower. You look at the Italian league, that's another league that's probably about the same as Spain. The Premier League is more quicker to those two leagues alone.
Yeah.
So it does. I don't think we rate the Premier League too highly.
Okay, and there's another one. There's a list of comments from Chelsea. You can breed mentality without the use of money. No. Yes, it shows potential ambition if board is willing to spend. I think he meant to say. Yeah. And the captain, Man City, was Vincent Kompany. Thank you for reminding me. Yeah. And we've got James Karimi. He said, look, Gunners out there. We have Laka, Torreira, Kola, Holding, Pepe, Tierney, Martinelli, etc. So they will gel and we will sting. Yes, yeah. It's just need to give them time. Have to give them time. You know, Richard, I'm gonna call it quits on this
That's
first
cool.
segment back. Fan comments, a new era, and yeah, it's just onwards and upwards. But you know, we have to remove that negativity. You know, we need to think positive. Get behind the coach, get behind the club, and support one another. Let's stop this fracturedness, you know, in the fan base. But Richard, again, I
Yeah,
want to thank you for coming on the first segment in the new season. Fan comments. Do you want to say anything?
always
Do
a
you want
pleasure.
to say anything? Do you want to, you know, do your business?
Yeah, for the people that is coming, just passing by, make sure you do subscribe to Cannon Fodder TV, and also make sure you head over to my channel as well. And I will leave my channel in the comments box after when we go off air, so you
Yeah,
can find it.
yeah, because I think you're making your way to 1,000 subscribers, aren't you, Richard? I think.
Yeah, I'm 223 away.
Ah, there
So
you
I'm
go.
on 777 subscribers at the minute. So yeah,
Fantastic,
onwards and
fantastic.
upwards.
There you go. So if you've been wondering who or what you've been watching, you have been watching Cannon Fodder, the channel for Arsenal fans all over the world. And fan comments, breaking news.